Hello and welcome to this Go Ballistic special. I'm David Friel and I'm joined today by Andy Devlin, my colleague at the Scottish Sun. Andy, huge news coming out of Rangers on Wednesday night about a potential takeover, an American-based consortium, including Paraag Marathe, who is a San Francisco 49ers Chief Supremo. He also heads up the 49ers Enterprise arm, which is an investment wing. He's the current chairman of Leeds United. It looks as if he's part of a group that hopes to invest in Rangers and take control of Rangers. Can you just bring us up to date on the current state of play?
Yeah, that's everything you've said there, David, is absolutely accurate. Yeah, it broke last night. I think people are amazed that it hasn't leaked before now when we realise just how far potentially this is down the road. I mean, I think that there could be something early next week, the way we are with all of this. There's shareholders willing to fall into line. There's shareholders have been actively looking to get out for a number of months now. As has been revealed in several reports this morning, talks have been going on, I would say, since really, I think, back from October time.
Right, okay.
In all of this. So it's not something that's just came to fruition in the last 2 or 3 weeks. This has been ongoing for 5 months now. I've always been of the opinion that the longer the Celtic's dominance has gone on and the more money they bank from Champions League, it was going to take something revolutionary for Rangers to try and get back, even in an even keel. It was going to take money from America. It was going to take maybe money from the Far East, Middle East, that kind of level of investment. That's what we're talking about. I think Dave King highlighted it back in September when John Bennett stood down initially as chairman, that there was significant investor fatigue, and I think that's how we can call this. I think we've got the club. Rangers have reached a stage where they need to find somebody who can give them a tranche of money that will see them, spend significantly in the summer to try and bridge that gap between themselves and Celtic. That wasn't going to happen under the current regime and under the current model, where you're just going round and round in a circle of soft loans, paying back interest in soft loans and never getting out of that, never breaking that cycle. It was going to take something seismic like this, and that's where we are just now.
In terms of, you mentioned the gap just now financially between Celtic. I think looking into Paraag Marathe's background, looking into the work at Leeds United, it's clear, and even under UEFA financial sustainability rules just now, you can't just go in with a blank cheque and say, go and sign 12 players. And I think that's important to note. However, what he seems to have in the 49ers Enterprise arm is a strategy, and a long-term strategy. So it seems as if the Rangers shareholders do seem willing to do a deal, they're putting it into safe hands and guys who do have a strategy going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, given the past, I mean, we are what, 10 years on from regime change, where Dave King and Paul Murray and the Three Bears finally wrestled back control of Rangers. You're 10 years on from that. Before that, everybody knows what happened with Craig White and various other people coming on the scene. Rangers have always been guarded against that kind of thing happening again. But this isn't an unknown quantity you're dealing with. You're dealing with, as you've outlined there, the investment arm of the San Francisco 49ers, a worldwide recognised franchise with serious financial clout and muscle. You're right, they won't be throwing, Rangers fans excited, and rightly so this morning, they won't be throwing 50 million at it, 100 million at it. You can forget that, as you've outlined there. Financial fair play rules would prevent that anyway. But there is a structure, there is a in place at Leeds United. They were obviously relegated, didn't come straight back up, Leeds United. They now found themselves top of the Championship. They're 2 points clear. Spoke to a couple of ex-Leeds United players this morning and indeed last night, who tell me that just now it's arguably the best squad that they've seen constructed in their lifetime at Elland Road. But that hasn't been done in the space of one summer, one transfer window. It's taken till now for them to do that. But they're in a very strong position. You would say that them getting back into the Premiership for the start of next season. And it's going to take, the size of the gap, David, between Rangers and Celtic is, it's astronomical. So it's not going to happen overnight for Rangers. But this is the first chink of light and the first good bit of news in that regard that the Rangers fans have had.
You talk about the strategy, the structure. So it was interesting to note that Sportsology, who are the group who have come in under Patrick Stewart's behest to front up this root and branch review, lo and behold, Mike Ford, who owns Sportsology, has worked with the San Francisco 49ers in great detail in the past. They're on the website as a selected client. He was also the man who recommended that Paraag Marathe way back in 2018, invest in Leeds United. Is that a coincidence?
No, I don't think so. I think there's too many things now, David, that have kind of come to light in the last 24 hours that you think, right, okay, that's obvious. How did we, it's almost hiding in plain sight, if you like. Yeah, I mean, Patrick Stewart was out yesterday, made a video on Rangers TV where he outlined the plans to employ a sporting director. It's all falling into place. It's not a coincidence. These guys are in doing what the club and what Patrick Stewart is saying is an external review. It's almost as if they're in there doing a bit of due diligence.
Yeah.
You know, for you know what's to follow in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. They're almost as if they're in there having a good look under the bonnet, assessing what needs to be done. If they're wanting a sporting director in place, you know, this is what will happen, as Patrick Stewart has now outlined. So no, I don't think in any way, shape or form it's a coincidence that that's the company that's doing it.
We on the Scottish Sun website just now have a story on what Paraag, Marathe and the 49ers tend to look for in a head coach. So I suppose one of the key questions just now, and the noise won't go away, what potentially would a takeover mean for Philippe Clement? Would it make him safe? Would it not make him safe? How do you see it? I know we don't have a crystal ball, but does this change the stance on him at all?
I think what this has done has highlighted why he wasn't sacked last week. You know, Rangers and Celtic managers don't survive the magnitude of losing to a championship team at home in the Scottish Cup. Just doesn't happen. Philippe Clement is the exception to that rule. He's still in a job. This is why he's still in a job. I don't think, and I don't think any Rangers fan would disagree with this, Patrick Stewart, the chief executive, would have gone in there, knowing what he clearly has known, sacking Philippe Clement on the Monday morning or the Sunday night after the game, then hiring a manager to come in to oversee the remainder of February, March, April, May, to potentially then sack him in the summer for a new man to come in.
Takeover,
As we all know, these things are always the same. See, when you have a takeover of this size and of this magnitude, when new people come into a club, they want to bring their own people, their own staff, their own coaches, implement their own ideas. So what I think this will do, it will probably safeguard Philippe Clement in the job until the end of the season. I don't think they're going to sack him now. I think that's pretty clear. I would be amazed if he is the Rangers manager beyond the summer, because you'll have this consortium coming in with their own ideas. They want their own people in charge, and what an opportunity. If they don't see Philippe Clement, and I don't think they do, as the man to take the club forward, so any money they have to spend in the summer, they're not going to give it to him. They're going to want their own man in to let him, you know, shape the club the way he wants to build it. So I think Philippe Clement will get to the end of the season. And beyond that, I'd be amazed if he's still the Rangers manager at the start of the next season.
The SFA potentially would have to get involved in terms of dual ownership due to the 49ers enterprise controlling stake in Leeds United. That's a case-by-case basis, so that would be for down the line, as we saw recently with Hibs. Bill Foley, who owns Bournemouth, took a 29.9 stake in Hibs as well. So we'll see how that pans out. I doubt there would be any blockage in terms of that. But how do you see the next steps? What is the next steps?
Well, you've obviously got, I mean, there was some shares traded recently, about 20 pence a share. So City kind of sources are saying you're roughly estimating Rangers a value of 100 million just now. So it's getting these shareholders, and I don't think there's a great deal of reluctance on their part to sell up. I think that's obviously, but understanding is they're so far down the road with this, David, that the vast majority of them, there's a verbal agreement in place with them. I mean, there's talk of legal documents being drawn up in many cases. So, as I say, I really think over the course of the weekend, the beginning of next week, there will be something concrete from either the American side of things or back here in Glasgow. I think that's where we are with it. You then obviously have the dual ownership thing. You have the issue with Hibs. So, I mean, I can't see that being a hurdle that you know will prove problematic to Rangers. I think, you know, just now, given everything that they've gone through, and you can say really the last 10 years, out with Steven Gerrard, the invincible year when they stopped Celtic winning 10 in a row, as I say, this is the first chink of light, hope for the future, for a brighter future for Rangers fans. So this is something they're going to cling on. They've obviously got European football to look forward to, but at least now beyond that, they can see, right, okay, there is money going to come into the club. There could be, you know, the foundation there. And you look at what they've done at Leeds United, and you look, as you say, you talked about the strategy in place. It's proper people, you know, who know how to structure a football club, know how to operate a football club. So yeah, I mean, it all bodes well in that regard for a much brighter and positive future.
Andy, thanks for your time, and stay across the Scottish Sun newspaper, Scottish Sun website, and our YouTube channel for all the latest news on this developing story.